Then we have the round one PC plans, whereby we have, funding source, let's say for this case is Ascend, and then we still have, date of date start date, and then we have the end date, and then we have the MDA reported. So here we have the number treated for male, female. So we enter the specific data reported. We also enter the categorization by population typology, pre-SAC, SAC, and adults. And then at the RCT, at the round one ACT and ICS survey coverages, that means the monitoring and evaluation activities that have been inbuilt in the MDA process. We have the ACT, which is meant to be done as a monitoring process within our MDA activities. We should indicate if this was completed, and then the decision. So if it is not inadequate, we expect you to either have planned, there's a mop-up that has been done or is being planned. So in this case, we'll assume it is completed. And then we have ICS done, either in progress and the survey. Now, for ICS, we know that we will be sampling, and even for SCT, we will be sampling IUs. And hence, we don't expect all the IUs to have the information for SCT and ICS. We'll only expect this within the sampled IUs. The other bit, let's say in a scenario whereby you're doing 2 annual rounds in a year, then we'll also expect you to continue filling in the same information down here in the next round. And the same information follows through what I've shown you above. Now, I've taken you through the DCA MDA, the MDA for MDA data standards for trachoma. I would also wish to take you through the trachoma DCA data standards. Now, the process here is the same. The login procedure here is the same as the one I've shown you in the trachoma. However, I'll also wish to show you live on how you can do this. From the database itself. Now, let's assume we are still operating in the same organization unit. Then you'll have to select here the DCA for trachoma. And for DCA for trachoma, you'll have the various data levels for reporting or data section. So we have the basic information, as it was the case with the Oncho data standard, MDA data standards. Then you have the population and the IP contract, which is also the IP IU information we need to collect. We have the contract identification, we have the total population. Here we have the population granulated further into male and female, so that needs to be entered. And then we have the general information with regards to first PC round that was conducted, and then number of PC rounds that have been delivered so far. And then we have the treatment strategy. Was it zithromycin only or zithromycin in combination with TCL? What is the pre-control prevalence that needs also to be reported? We have the survey type, where you have the various surveillance activities that are employed. You have the mapping, the trachoma impact assessment, we have trachoma surveillance survey, and we have the remapping. So if it's mapping, we need to indicate there. And we also know that often the case when you're talking about the surveillance or DCAs, we're talking about evaluation unit. Sometimes they combine IUs or they split IUs based on predefined criteria. So we also need to enter the evaluation unit upon which the data was collected. And then we also need to indicate the evaluation unit location by giving out the longitude and the latitude. However, this can be done live. You can click here and type there the location where the data is being collected, and then you set the coordinate, then it will automatically prefill itself. We also need to indicate the sampling strategy. Was it systematic? Was it convenience? Was it sensors? Was it cluster? And if others, you need to explain here what was the strategy if it's not amongst the ones listed here. Then we have to indicate also the survey month. We also have to indicate the survey month. So let's say it was done in April, and the survey year, so let's say it's 2020. Then we have to do the survey type. So here we'll talk about, what is the type of survey data you are getting? Was it a mapping? Was it a remapping? Was it a TIS? Was it a TSS, TT only surgery, or trachoma rapid assessment? And then we have the cluster survey. So you have to list the number of clusters that were surveyed. Then you also have to list the number of households that were surveyed. And then amongst the age categorization, you also have to indicate the number of 1 to 9 years old that were enumerated, that 1 to 9 years old that were examined. For the same thing enumerated and examined, you also need to provide the same information for 15 and above. We also need to indicate the number of 1 to 9 years old who are enumerated and positive, 15-year-olds who are positive for TT, uh, enumerated. Also, we have to indicate the 15-year-olds positive for TT, and then 15 plus who are positive for TS. The same information, this is usually pre-calculated, so you'll only need to get it from the pre-calculated tables that will be defined by the IPs or by the person responsible for doing this analysis. Then you'll have to feed in the prevalence, and then the lower bound for 95 confidence, lower bound for the same indicator, and the 95% confidence interval upper bound for that, the same, that the TF indicator. And then the same also applies for age and gender adjusted trichosis. The same also will apply for age and gender adjusted trichosis that are known to health system. And then we also have age and gender adjusted trichosis plus TS, the same information, the upper bounds and the lower bounds within the 95% confidence intervals. And then we also have the same age and gender adjusted prevalence of trichosis and plus TS unknown to health system, prevalence and the upper bound and the lower bound for 95% confidence interval. When it's complete, you indicate yes. And if there's any other information that you need to add that might be of value, qualitative information that might be of value in interpreting the information that you've given, then you can add in the text inside here. Now, this is a very brief introduction, and the time might not be sufficient to dig deeper and think through everything. However, we are available for for support, and also available to to guide you when that need be, and we are here to support you. So feel free to reach out to us to help you think through how you can institute these within your countries, and also how we can support the various reporting implementing partners to make effective use of this platform. Otherwise, thank you very much, and we are looking forward to more interaction with you.